No, please, God, please. I'm here. I'm here. Yes, I'm here. I'm very, very, very happy to be here. Very happy. But because I'm finally in heaven, I deserve to be here. I deserve to be here. Okay. Richard has been waiting for me for a long time, but I had a duty to do, So now I'm in heaven. Okay. And I have to have separate rooms. Okay. First of all, I don't want to be around no cooning ass Negroes. I can't take it. I can't be around Aunt Jemima ass, cream of wheat ass niggas. Please keep me away from them. Okay? I kept my integrity. I kept it. I kept it real. I kept it real. Okay? I did my best. I did my best to not throw my people under the bus. And please, I don't want to be around no goddamn crackers. Not in my goddamn heaven. I already lived hell on earth. So please, if this is heaven, I don't want no white folks around me. Please, no white folks around me, unless they're serving me my dinner and their servants. But other than that, I don't want them around me, please. I don't want that either. And please, I want black angels. Yeah, God damn it, I want black angels. I don't give a fuck. I want black angels. I don't want no white angels. Please, no white angels. I want nigga angels. Please, nigga angels. And don't send me no goddamn bats.
Oh, there's Mike. Is that Mike? Mike Dennis. It says I can't go live with you, Mike. Why? You got a request, Mike. Buy a badge, guys. Buy badges. You guys, we worried about the wrong things. It's a summoning, but we ain't listening. Right on. Who's Kwame? He's a basketball player. Kwame Thomas or something? Yo, Mike.
Hey, can you hear me, Godfrey?
Yes, I can. What up?
Okay. I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
I've been watching your tributes to Mr. Mooney all day. And I said, Paul Mooney, I think is one of our mutual heroes. And I just wanted to share that. But I've been digging in the crates, man. How much can I get for this?
What's that? Oh, my God. Short fuse? Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. That was the guy from Fridays, the Mexican dude. Hey, Smokey.
Oh, okay. It's a good movie. I mean, no money involved, but the story is really good.
No, yeah. It's damn. That's LA bullshit.
Okay. Well, I got the box set. I got that. I got What Up?
Jesus Christ.
Underemployed.
With Kadeem Hardison.
Kadeem Hardison, yeah. And Virginia, which is my favorite. So
Virginia. Well, you like Virginia?
I love Virginia because you're playing a serious part. These Lightyear Entertainment videos. If you want to dig deep, that's what we. That's what I do for a living.
Yes, but
for those who don't know, I mean, I find all these old Paul Mooney videos and put them on YouTube.
Yeah, Paul Mooney. I decided, because I think Aries did a Paul Mooney, and Aries always bragged to me, like said, Godfrey, my Paul Mooney's better than your Paul Mooney. I said, Aries, I don't care. I was like, it's Paul Mooney's voice. It doesn't matter. So Aries did a Paul Mooney challenging me. And then I did Paul Mooney telling him that I'm not going to challenge him in Paul Mooney's voice.
Okay.
So we were going back and forth. So we both did a dedication. I actually put his impersonation on my my stories. Thank you for buying a badge. Buy badges, people. Buy badges. Yeah.
Well, I know people. I always say you should save your lives. I know you make them special by you got to be up at 3 a.m. in order to understand what you're saying. It's like some underground railroad.
I'm trying to I'm trying to be a little earlier.
Just record them so people like me, can watch them.
Well, it depends
on YouTube.
Because sometimes I'll play music and then they'll block me because it's some licensed shit. So they go, we can't let you. People can't see you. Just real corny old white boy shit. That's all.
Well, you got the best thing going. So I always tell you that. I always tell you that I think you're the most talented person that I know. And I suffered through your LA movies just so I can get a handle on what to do. I'm working hard to get you some material. Now, I'm curious. I know this is your show, but I have to ask you some questions, if that's okay.
Yeah.
If that's
Go ahead. About Paul Mooney, right?
Well, Paul Mooney as a technician, what your memories are of Paul Mooney, and why he's considered among the greats.
Well, I think that a lot of times when people bring up the greats, they don't bring up Paul Mooney. They'll go Pryor, Cosby, Carlin, you know, Red Fox, and Mooney. And when I would name my top, I would name Mooney. Like I'd go Pryor, Carlin, Mooney, you know, Fox, and I forgot who the last one is, and Cosby. So because I listened to Paul Mooney the most, like out of everybody, it was Carlin and Mooney the most for me, because I had an affinity towards them because they resonated with my style. You know what I mean? They resonated with my style. Pryor too. They just resonated, that honesty. And as I grew as a comedian, I became more edgy, but I was bolder. I wasn't afraid to go to certain areas that people don't touch. And I know, especially as an African American comedian, you know, a lot of us aren't going to go there. There's a few like Eddie Griffith, Cat Williams, Chappelle, you know, that's why I gravitate towards those guys, because they're real honest, and you'll talk about politics, race. We go there. You know what I mean? And Paul didn't give a fuck, and he was funny as hell. You know what I mean?
But did you get a chance to see him live, or how often? No,
I met him one time real quick, but I never got to see him live because I'd be out of town. If he was at Caroline's, I'd be out of town. It was like we were missing each other. I was missing, you know, it was one of those things, and I never got to see him, you know?
Yeah.
And so that sucks. But I got to see Carlin and Cosby, which is cool. But I never saw Paul Mooney, which was like he was around, you know, he was at the clubs, but timing wise.
Right. Yeah, no, I had a chance to see him at least 3 times. We interviewed him twice for the TV show.
Yes.
Reelblack TV.
Yes.
The first time I saw him was actually in LA at the Comedy Store. And he was holding court in one of the small rooms, like on a Friday night, like around this time at night. He's closing up the Comedy Store. And you know, not to name drop. This is when I was hanging out with Chris Rock, you know.
Yeah.
So we were in there, and it was Mooney and Carlos Mencia was open for, well, followed him actually, because he closed the club up, but he just seemed angry. I was just like, why is he so mad? He's just talking to 8 people and cussing.
But you know what's great about Paul Mooney? When there's 8 people in the room, that's what I love about real comedians. You go 100%, even if you go 100%. If there's 1,000 people in the room, 500 people in the room, 5 people in the room, you're supposed to go at 100. You get some of your best shit out of the smallest audiences because there's really no pressure. The responsibility isn't as big, so you don't give a fuck. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you sometimes, when you don't have a big crowd, you just start reaching for shit. You really get very conversational, and you just start reaching for shit and going, wow, that was cool. Wow, I can work on that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, I love that about Paul Mooney.
I felt blessed to be in his presence then. You know, I didn't know.
Yeah.
You know, I'm still in college at this point.
Right.
And then fast forward almost 20 years later, or not 20, couldn't have been 20, maybe 15 years later, I had a chance to interview him for the TV show. And I saw his act, and I thought it was great. Actually, I saw him 3 times at Helium.
Right. Wow.
Because he would come every year.
How long did he do? He did like 2 hours.
What's interesting, he does about 2 hours, and then starts to walk the audience, which is tough because he's got 2 shows to do each night, right? So he literally won't get off the stage until people start walking out like, I've had enough.
He's like, all you niggas are just scared. Please, I could talk all goddamn day. All goddamn day. I could talk all goddamn day. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
But what's interesting, you know, when you see him, his act was basically the same. Like I'd say 90 minutes of his act
Right.
was identical every single year. It was like
Yes.
just pulling out a new vehicle, and then maybe 10 minutes of riffing on whatever was in the news, and then people call out, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And he would completely ignore it. He just completely ignore anybody's opinion of what to say or any of that.
He would just do his regular jokes.
He would push through his jokes. You knew the set was over when he started to do the you know, I've been black for 5 minutes and already I hate you white people jokes. Like he'd bring out the nursery rhymes, and that's when he would wind it down. But you know, the first time seeing him was magical, and then you see it again and it's sort of like, okay, it's his act. You know, you can't fault him for doing his act.
No,
you know?
not at all. That's what your royal journey. Oh, yeah, but that's what you're supposed to do, you know.
But the first time seeing it, it just feels so fresh because, you know, even though he might have been telling some of the same jokes for 20 years, they were still relevant to
as
today.
Fuck.
Exactly.
Because the thing about race jokes, fortunately and unfortunately, is that you can do race jokes all the time because, well, white supremacy hasn't really changed much. It's still the same shit. So people still don't like us. Fortunately, you can still make money talking about your oppression.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it would be nice. I mean, in a perfect world, if my race jokes got tired and people go, you know, we don't hate anymore. What are you talking about? We don't do that anymore. I would love for that day to happen, but I fucking doubt it, you know?
I'm looking at your comments. I appreciate folks like bearing through this. People talk about Richard Pryor and Paul Mooney. I mean, what are some of your favorite Paul Mooney moments?
My favorite Paul Mooney moment as far as his specials and his jokes, I remember one time he was, you know, I was listening. It was an audio thing, and he was talking, and a white person finally got up and left, and Paul Mooney said, "I thought I lost my touch." He's like this. I was worried. I was worried. When white people don't leave, I'm worried. I like when they leave. That means I know I'm on point.
Right.
And it was so funny because I thought I lost my touch. He was like, I couldn't wait for these goddamn crackers to leave. I couldn't wait. I was getting worried. Am I getting soft? I thought I was getting soft. I thought I was getting goddamn soft.
Well, that's the thing about him. He felt joy in walking a room.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if your viewers. I mean, can you explain walking a room? Do you like?
Well, walking a room. Well, it depends. You can walk a room by people being offended by what you're saying. You can walk a room by people you just being really bad, just horrible. You know what I mean? You can walk. There's different ways to walk a room. You can be offensive. You can just be terrible. You know, people don't agree with you. But I've had some white folks sometimes walk out. Usually it's white women. They're the first ones to jump and get the fuck out. White women are the first ones to jump up and leave and complain. They're always the ones to try to defend everything. That's not right. But they're the first ones to get up and leave a comedy show because they're offended by everything. You know, white women are Decepticons, bro. They're Decepticons of white supremacy. They're the Decepticons.
Now, when you're on stage, can you feel the tension in the room, or do you just know it?
I'm so used to it. It's weird. I'm like Thanos, man. I get stronger with more fucking chaos. It's like, I like it when they're kind of tight because you know what you're doing. It's like, I caused it. I know what to say to get the audience to go, oh shit. You know what I mean? It's right. Like you're a maestro. You're just You're just controlling the audience with any level of tone you want. Oh, we're going to go here. Oh, we're going to go there. You know what I mean? You already know what they're going to react to.
Right.
You know, it's like when I talk about the word retarded, right? And I purposely bring in that word. I'll say retarded, something. And people will get a little, white, especially white folk. Oh, and I go, oh, you're offended by retarded. But nobody stands up for nigger, though. Nobody stands up for nigger. But if I say, and they say, you shouldn't say retarded. I say, but if I say retarded nigger, you'll say, you shouldn't say retarded.
Well, I noticed that. I mean, I always notice like you're pushing closer and closer to Mooney and the political and the racial stuff that you bring on stage.
Yeah. From college, I was always very a militant guy. I mean, militant as in just aware. I really got into African American history. I really read a lot of shit on my own with a group of students. We all really put our head to the grindstone and really educated ourselves, brought in people to our school. We brought in Stokely Carmichael when he was Kwame Ture. We brought in Sister Soldier. We had Eleanor Holmes Norton. We had Naeem Akbar, who wrote the book of Breaking the Chains of Psychological Slavery. We also had some brothers from the Black Panther Party. We had Latino and Native American political prisoners and real hit motherfuckers. We had another brother named Ajwa Kwesi, who's still around, who was teaching us African history, origins of African history and African American history. We had another brother named Fundishi Mpatanishi, who was another African historian. We had these guys every week. We brought them in ourselves, despite what the university was complaining about. We were like, we're going to learn our own shit. And so from college, that is when I really was like, I spoke like that when I was 19. Mm-hmm. I was talking that black shit when I was 19, like really talking that shit. I would go see the minister, Minister Farrakhan in Chicago, because I was from Chicago. So I got to see him live. I would go to, Savior's Day. Mm-hmm. I'll go to Savior's Day, and sometimes I'll go to the mosque, but I wasn't Muslim. I'm not Muslim or nothing. Mm-hmm. I'm a black dude. So I'm like, I'm a black guy, and he's talking about black problems. I'm down. So it was my pep talk, because you go to a university. I went to University of Illinois, very white university, and none of us are unfamiliar with white universities. And you're like really the minority. You're 800 black students out of 45,000 students. Come on, everybody sticks together. So we said, okay, since we stick together, let's learn about ourselves. So I was able to, once I got on stage, once I got into comedy and started to get more comfortable on stage, I started to slowly bring in the black awareness shit. Slowly bring in the black awareness shit. And now that I'm seasoned, 20 plus years later, I'm not afraid of shit, because I have enough cleverness, I have enough words to really serve it in a certain way that people go, that was very clever. Paul Mooney was clever, but also he was just like, he didn't even try to be tricky with jokes.
Yeah, I was going to ask that in terms of the technical skill of this.
Yeah.
Because you can still listen to Race and Masterpiece, which are like 30 years old at this point.
Masterpiece was my first Paul Mooney. I bought Masterpiece on cassette, bro.
I mean, he's got a whole half the album of Race's OJ jokes, but they're still relevant. It still works.
Funny as shit.
So,
I mean,
I guess the question is, when you're writing a joke, do you write them to last 30 years?
Yeah, my shit is like, I try to write. I'm not a very topical. I like mine to be sort of evergreen. I can do it anytime, any place, you know. And I don't have to, like the stuff about my dad and my mom and being African, I'm gonna be that forever. I don't have to change that. Immigrant shit is never gonna change. You know what I mean?
Right.
I can do that. I mean, the stuff I talk about science, I talk about space, I talk about all kind of shit. And most of my shit is pretty evergreen. I don't have to worry about being outdated. You know what I mean?
Right. But I'm just quizzing you on a technical level. Like how does a Paul Mooney joke work? I mean, because you've broken down the impression. Like what is the science behind a Paul Mooney joke?
Well, the science behind a Paul Mooney joke is, I mean, a lot of his shit is what he went through, you know, obviously. I like when he talks about, have you ever seen the one that Paul Mooney analyzes America? Oh my God. You know that one, right?
Yeah, shout out to Tim Reed.
Tim Reed.
He produced it. They shot it at his studio.
Yo, let me tell you something. That shit was so fucking funny. Like, and he's, you know, he's interviewing the people like a psychologist.
The psychologist, yeah.
Man, when he goes, isn't that funny? White folks, white folks are mad. He goes, because I read the White Book, and getting away was not a chapter. He said, they mad. White folks are mad because we got away. They're mad. We got away. Look at all white people. They just so mad we got away. Can you imagine if slavery came back? Them motherfuckers would be so happy, like, welcome home. We left your room exactly the way it was. Welcome home. Make sure you get some sleep. You got to get up for your 12 jobs tomorrow. He said, isn't that funny? When we were slaves, we had jobs all over the place. But when we got free, we didn't have a goddamn job. We're sorry. You're overqualified. That shit was so fire. Like,
It's just the truth.
It was the truth, but it was smart too. Because you're like, damn, that's true. I mean, sometimes this shit was clever, but it was straightforward. You feel me?
Well, what's interesting to me, I definitely feel you. I mean, what's interesting to me about Mr. Mooney is he could go for 5-6 hours straight.
Yeah.
You know, and what's interesting about those albums on Stepson, when you listen to them, you could take them either way. They could, like, you don't see his facial expressions on the album, so they could be almost like lectures if you're in a certain mood.
Yes.
But then other times you can just take it for the humor, you know.
Right.
So I mean, in terms of breaking it down, is it just telling the truth as honest as possible, or is it his timing or his voice?
It's telling.
Like, why do we tolerate him?
It's because he reminds of an uncle, of a grandfather, of that funny old black dude. That's just like a staple in black culture. Old funny black dudes, old funny black women. It's an older black man complaining about shit. That's why we tolerate him, because he has an authoritative view on shit. He's lived through it. So you can't be mad at the motherfucker. And he's funny, and the way he talks is so funny. You know what I mean? It's like old black men be like, oh, goddamn crackers, I'm tired of this shit. No, that's never not funny.
Well, he's like the less apologetic Richard Pryor.
Right.
Like the B-side. I have a theory that after the fire, it almost became Paul Mooney's mission to carry on that level of truth-telling, because Richard
slowed down after. He wasn't the same after it happened to him. He wasn't as like, that nigga's crazy, craps, super nigga. He wasn't that guy anymore.
Right.
And Paul, and who was, you know, that was Richard's boy. He was part of the fire that Richard had. You know, that honest shit. I think he wrote that joke where he goes, whenever you go down to court, you looking for justice, and that's all you see is just us.
Right.
That's a Paul Mooney joke. And Paul Mooney was very clever, but straight in your face. You know what I mean? He was just straight, but he was clever as fuck. Like,
well, it's interesting. I don't know if you watch the channel. We have his first TV appearance. Like when he first started out in the 70s, like Black Omnibus.
Where James Earl Jones.
Exactly.
Yeah, I got that.
I mean, you know, and Soul Train, he was really trying to people please, I think, at the earliest stages.
And that's
of
everybody though. That's how we all do that. All of us do that. There's no, like, here he is, like right here.
A slum. Since then, it's become a ghetto. I'm saying that because I didn't know what it was until I heard Elvis Presley.
Very good looking guy.
So, I mean, I've been trying to get into it now that I know what it is. Anyway, I went to school there.
That's his first stand-up on TV.
And a lot of my friends, I'm looking around to see if I see any of my old friends. I see one. We're or two, maybe three, white people. And no, that's nothing wrong with saying that. No, I mean, I want to realize it because I know the audience is predominantly black. There's nothing wrong with saying white people. And it sounds old-fashioned, but some of my best friends were white. No, they weren't. And I mean, I had white friends for days. I mean, for real. Oh, but I was white back, if you could dig it. And I was into my Endura bag. You know, you get that affected speech, Endura. I was as white as they got. The white socks, the Timbers, had my little Levi's kind of worn stuff. My folks thought I was crazy. They said, here comes the net, because I had a little education, right? Endura is dinner. You know.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So,
And you know,
is
so my theory, you know, if I was to do like an American Masters Paul Mooney, it would be he didn't really become Paul Mooney until after the fire. Even he didn't mind being in the background in the shadow.
Yes.
The compatriot of Richard Pryor.
Right.
But then after the fire, it just he broke solo, and it was very unapologetic, very antagonistic towards the whole show business thing.
Yes.
You know, and didn't mind performing it, like I said, in front of 8 people all night on a Friday. You know, if for whatever reason. You know, I don't know what it did for his soul to. I mean, I don't know if it was his calling.
And people don't understand that Sandra Bernhardt was one of his closest friends.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was one of his closest friends. And, you know, I talked to Sandra Bernhardt. She goes, oh, Paul Mooney taught me the game. You know, and she goes, he's talking about, you know, he's calling white people out. Paul Mooney loved all kinds of people, but he's just calling people out on injustice. That's all he was doing. And, you know, white folks don't want to hear what they're doing. They don't want to hear them talk. You know, they don't want to be told that they are being horrible to you. They don't want to be told that. They want you to pretend like it ain't there. And Paul Mooney wasn't having that shit. He wasn't having it. Paul Mooney didn't hate white folks. He hated what white folks did. He grew up in a segregated time. He drank from colored water fountains, man. We don't know what the fuck.
He gave it to you straight.
Yeah, but do we know what that's like? Remember his time which he was born. He just died. He was damn near 80. Remember the time at which he was born. I mean, this guy is coming. You know where the fuck he came from? Like, what are we talking about here? Me and you, we didn't drink from a colored water fountain.
Right.
We didn't drink from a colored water fountain. I mean, we didn't come from segregation. There was, Chicago segregated as fuck, but we didn't come from colored only, white only, nigga, get the like real bullshit. I mean, I was called nigga and shit like that, but we didn't come from what they came from.
Right.
So it made sense what Paul Mooney was doing. Made a lot of sense. And you're talking about a good-looking black man. He was a good-looking guy, articulate, boom, boom, boom. But that he still was suffering like everybody else. You know what I mean? He grew up with the Malcolm X's and the shit. He saw that shit. Like, he saw that shit, bro. Like, we see it in film and shit like that. He was there when Dr. King was killed. Niggas getting lynched and shit. And so, what the fuck do you expect him to talk about? Like, that's what he's been through. And then to live through our generation and to see the same shit happening, occurring again. So he just was like, these motherfuckers won't stop. So he was pretty much the engine that kept, he was almost a protector of black culture almost, you know?
I agree. Amen.
Yeah,
Amen.
He was a protector of black culture, and I listened to him a lot. It's like, you know, what's really funny is my style is influenced by Minister Farrakhan. The way, I don't act like him, but he's a big influence on me. Him, Carlin, they're just big influences on me, you know, and Jim Carrey for the physical, you know, and yeah, they're all like, yeah.
Well, what's your relationship with show business and the machine now? This is your platform. You literally can say whatever you want. You're Paul Mooney tonight because you can stay on as long as you want. Nobody questions you.
Yeah.
And you have your core fan base. I'm sure a lot of people watch every night. So, do you need the machine at this point, or are you still trying to get the deal?
Well, the machine is still there, okay? Mm-hmm. The machine is still there. There's still some rules. The fact that social media, I really have to admit, especially the pandemic, I'm glad I picked up my phone and got my ego out the way. And I picked up my phone about 4 years ago and really got on. I really got on the social media thing. You know, I really got on it. About 4 or 5 years ago, 4.5, I was at 8,000 followers, and now I'm at 600,000. I mean, and that's homegrown. That's straight up grassroots, no cheating. You know, I was able to, I felt so free. I felt free, even though social media is still controlled by the powers that be. Still, though, people, a lot of comedians especially, were able to recreate just reinvent their careers, man. You know what I mean? Look at Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is literally telling the industry to suck his dick. Like, fuck y'all. And you can get on a Joe Rogan podcast and do better numbers than if you did 10 Jimmy Fallons, 10 Jimmy Kimmels. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because late night doesn't groom comedians anymore. You know, Johnny Carson groomed comedians.
Right.
Johnny Carson loved comedians. He sat them down. He talked to them. You know, that's how Ellen DeGeneres, Jerry Seinfeld, Tim Allen, Robert Town, he sat them down and really, really fucking groomed comedians. Rodney Dangerfield. But now they don't give a fuck. So the podcast game changed everything. Podcasting. And I feel a little bit more self-inventive. I don't feel like I have to depend so hard on the machine as much. So I'm not as afraid. People go, you think the reason why you're not at this level with this, you know, because everybody's going to compare you to the most famous black guy.
Right.
They're always going to compare you. Why aren't you like, I go, first of all, we're totally different guys. Our paths are different. The chances that I take, that person would probably not take, but it is what it is. But I feel like I can still get to where I want to get to through this medium, you know, because at the end of the day, it's all about numbers. It's all about numbers. And if I can get numbers without having to compromise, more the better, man. It's fucking fantastic. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to understand, I'm still an actor. I still like to do, I want to do films. I want to do shit like that. But there are rules there are some boundaries that I'm not going to fucking cross. You know what I mean? Because of preservation of manhood, of black manhood, of preserving the culture, of representing black intelligentsia, and also showing that we're not a monolith. I try my best. The beautiful thing about it is sometimes when I do the shit that I do, I always look like, it looks like I'm building a barrier, but not really, because in the streets, I got 15, 16-year-old black kids going, man, I love what the fuck you do, man. You're so dope. You inspire me. I got Latin kids, man. You're so dope. Even some white kids that go, yo, I fuck with you, man. I love what you're doing, because you're still a marketable dude. And and the way you serve it, everybody likes it, but you don't compromise. You're not trying to be safe and shit like that. You know, I'm not worried about the guy not putting me on his sitcom. I'm not worried about that shit. You know?
So there's two things I want to ask. Just people keep asking. I don't know. I'm looking at the chat. People want to buy badges. What is a badge and how do you buy one?
Hey guys, buy badges. It gives me money. Whenever you buy a badge, it means I get money. It's 99 cents, $1.99, $4.99. They just gave me the shit about 2 weeks ago. You buy a badge and it's basically I get paid for being on live, which I deserve because I fucking earned it. You know what I mean?
That's what's up. All right. Well, I'll have to buy a badge now.
Yeah, it's on the right side. Is it on your right side or something? Bottom right.
It is on the right side. Yes, bottom right side.
Yeah, so everybody buy a badge. If you can buy a badge, 99 cents will not kill you. People just passing that shit up.
And you Cash App still? Do you still Cash App?
I got Cash App. It's Godfrey. It's comedian. It's Godfrey Comedian. It's my Cash App. My Venmo is Godfrey Comedian. And it's right there. And people ask me, when are you going to get a badge? I get a badge, and now I got to fucking beg people to buy a fucking badge. Uh-oh.
I'm back.
Okay, yeah, so.
I was trying to buy a badge. My thumb's too big.
Thank you, Scotty Dippin. Thank you, Scotty.
All right.
Dippin.
So you were saying Cash App is there. People ask.
My Cash App, and people have Cash App me, but it's so funny because my fans are the ones that told me about Cash App. Put your Cash App up. Put your Venmo up. What's your PayPal? And then once you put it up, now you're like, hey guys, Cash App me.
Yeah, entertainment is not free, especially at a level of Godfrey. And where are you now? You're in Orlando or Columbus?
Chicago.
You're in Chicago right now.
I'm going to be in Orlando tomorrow at the Improv.
Okay.
I'll be in the Improv tomorrow. If anybody's in Orlando, starting tomorrow, Orlando and Sunday, it'll be me, Artie. Artie's going to host. And if you're in Orlando, May 22nd and 23rd, starting tomorrow, we got 4 shows. They're going to be dope. And then the next following week, Ohio, Columbus, Ohio. That's the Ohio State area. All right. Columbus, Ohio. Yo, Melody, don't name the damn show. Columbus, Ohio, Funny Bone, May 28th to the 30th. Columbus, Ohio, Funny Bone, May 28th to the 30th. Columbus, Ohio, Funny Bone, May 28th to the 30th.
You sound like Dr. Umar.
I do Dr. Umar repeats. I do the 3 repeats. I do that.
He's the king of it.
Oh, yeah, the Prince of Pan-Africanism.
You're not
Columbus,
buying the
Ohio, Funny Bone, May 28th to the 30th. May 28th to the 30th. May 28th to the 30th. Columbus, Ohio, Funny Bone, May 28th to the 30th. If you're not there, if you're a coon, please do not show up if you're a coon. If you like snow bunnies, please, I do not need you here. It is Pan-Africanism only. Pan-Africanism only. Pan-Africanism only.
All right. And I'm gonna let you go, but let me just ask you one question.
You can keep going.
Well, if Mooney had a podcast, he'd be killing the game.
If Mooney had a podcast, it'd be fantastic.
Can you channel a little?
Mooney looked like he would get annoyed after a while. You know, but if Mooney did a podcast, it would be fire as shit. You know?
Can you channel a little for me?
Paul would be like, wait, it's like this. Welcome to my podcast. I really didn't want to do this goddamn podcast. I'm so goddamn tired of this bullshit. But I'm going to ask you guys, I'm going to ask some of you niggas a question. Why in the fuck are we still in the same goddamn position we're in? Please. Welcome to the goddamn Paul Mooney podcast. I'm doing once a year. That's it. 1 podcast a year, 1 episode a year. Take it or leave it, goddammit.
It's pretty, the same show. And for people who look at the interviews, I put up all the raw footage, and people are like, "You imbecile."
Why?
Huh?
Why they call you an imbecile?
Well, that's the comment section. Basically, you should never meet your heroes. That's the first thing. So I was really excited about meeting Mr. Mooney and interviewing him. And I read his book. As much as people say I didn't read his book, I read the whole book.
How was it?
Oh, Black is the New White.
How was it?
It's a great book. I mean, for the size of it, I mean, it's better. I'll put it this way: it's better than Richard Pryor's autobiography.
It's better than the Prior Convictions. Yeah,
but
okay,
still lacking. I feel like there must be another book somewhere, just like there's got to be a Paul Mooney documentary.
On Pryor.
Yeah, I'm saying there's got to be a better Mooney autobiography than what the editors gave for him.
Right.
But what was fascinating to me was that he was actually the person who drove Richard Pryor to Berkeley. You know, when Richard Pryor was having his transformation, Paul Mooney was the person who drove him up to the Bay Area to meet all the Bobby Seale and
Bobby Seale, Huey P. Newton, those guys,
and all that stuff. And there's I don't know if you heard that. There's a radio show that Richard Pryor did while he was in Berkeley that's on the channel called Attica. It's his response. It's like a audio collage.
Do you have it?
It's on the channel, yes. Richard Pryor Attica, it's called, because it's his response to the Attica prison riots. But he's going through all these transformations, and Paul Mooney was his right hand. man. And I was like, wow, you know, if you could talk about that and all this stuff. And literally my 5 questions were based on the book. He's like, you read the book, nigga. So now I got the man, the camera's rolling. And
everybody has
just
a
like,
Paul
now
Mooney
I got to ask him, there's no warm up. The next question is, well, a lot of the commenters think you're racist.
He's like,
are you racist?
How can I be
Mr.
racist? That makes no sense. How can I be racist? I didn't stop you from getting a house. I didn't stop you from going to school. That's ridiculous. How can I be racist? It doesn't make any goddamn sense. It's true.
Exactly. But that was I had like 5 lead-up questions before I got to the confrontation. But now instantly I'm confronting him and he's like, now you're interrogating me, nigga. Right. And I'm just like, oh shit. This is going nowhere. So for years I chopped it up and you know, it was always supposed to be me off camera. Right. Like I was always it wasn't Vlad TV. We're out of microphone.
Just like Dick Gregory, they always yelling at you.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, you know, so my pain, your entertainment is what I say.
Right.
But you know, for those who watched that raw footage of Paul Mooney, I thought it was important to show it. You know, it wasn't just about trying to get views. It's literally people who have been asking for over a decade. Can we see the whole thing? Right. So I was like, okay, well, you know, happy birthday, Paul, and we put it up. But you know, it's difficult to meet your heroes. But then, you know, and it shook me to my core. I didn't want to put the interview up. I said, wow, what a dickhead, blah blah blah. And then I had a chance to meet him about 5 years ago. He came with Dick Gregory.
Right. Oh wow.
And
I remember that. Yeah.
He wasn't in the best of shape. He didn't really have a show at that point.
Yeah.
They just kind of stuck him on stage and he sat there for an hour and kind of commented on who was in the audience and different things. He had maybe 2 or 3 jokes.
Was that when he was like getting the dementia?
Yeah, he had the dementia at that point. And his family was still pushing him out there on dates, you know, even though
why?
To get money. They're basically, he was living at family members' homes at this point, and they were using the money to, well, I don't want to say to support themselves, but he should not have been touring at that point. And Baba Dick, he was like very frustrated the day after. He's like, I don't understand why they just don't give him cue cards or a list of jokes. He can remember the jokes if he's cued, but you just can't put him on the stage for an hour without any kind of prompt. You know, it's not going to be entertaining, you know. So after the show, we took the picture that's on Instagram right now. And I said, you know, Mr. Mooney, I have to thank you because this interview that you did with us, it's reached over 900,000 people. It's reached 900,000 people today. And he looked at me and said, well, you know, no, thank you. It's reached 900,001.
Someone says we're muted.
I can hear you.
I can hear you too. I can hear. No. Yeah, that's somebody else. That's your phone, motherfucker. They can hear it. Someone said I can't hear you.
Okay. Well, so he gave me a compliment. I told him I loved him. And that was the last time I saw him. So.
Wow. Yeah. Pierre was talking about him. Pierre was close to him.
Yeah. And Lunel, you know, they really held it down for him.
Yeah.
You know, he got a lot of love for a lot of people especially when he was sick. But you know, it's a shame that you know, people like him and Patrice would just be killing it with all the social stuff that's going on.
Man, what? Oh,
you know, so
well,
for them not to be here.
Hello.
That's the same phone. Hey, everybody. How's it going, everybody? I got to read these comments while he's on the phone. They got a live phone. Bro, this came from Africa. So sad. Okay. I hear you. I can hear. Buy badges. Buy badges.
Buy badges.
Buy badges, people.
What is that? Batcave calling. Yes.
Yeah.
Room service.
Yeah, that's all I got, man.
Is that all you got?
You have to have me on again if we're going to talk. I mean, Paul Mooney. The best thing is the Richard Pryor roast.
That's a good one.
That's the best one. And my favorite Paul Mooney movie moment is in Bustin' Loose when they're still in the TV sets. And he drives off without him.
I got another question. I think I had something about Paul Mooney.
Okay.
Damn. Yeah, his sons, he was
Mooney
the accusation of him like sexually assaulting Richard Pryor's son.
Yeah.
And the sons were like, that's bullshit.
Well, you got to read Richard Pryor Jr.'s book.
Oh shit.
But he doesn't name names. So it's open to whatever. But there's a thing where he said he was a PA on one of Richard's movies for the summer and he had a fling with somebody on the set. And that it was consensual, but he was underage. So when TMZ caught up to him, he said, I was still underage. So I don't know what that means. In the book, it's like one of his first sexual encounters and he enjoyed it. But in the light of 2020, 2021, he's like, I was still underage. So but he more or less confirms it, Richard Pryor Jr. But again, it's years ago, and I don't think it should be there to taint the legacy of Paul Mooney.
Right.
And I don't think it was the job of Rashawn to tell that story on Comedy Hype.
Yeah,
I think that was poor taste, and and Richard Jr. told the story as well as he wanted to in his own book. So
right.
So, but we're all human beings, and we have to go through things to get to things. But yeah, if you have time, you read Richard's book, and I have I don't want to get up, but I have a signed copy of Paul's book for you since you never got a chance to see him live. I appreciate you taking the time.
Are you going to give me one?
Yeah, you deserve one. If you're going to keep it, I don't know.
No.
You're always going around.
No, what? I'll read it.
I gave you stuff. You're like, I don't have a DVD player. I was like, okay, well, I hope he gives it to somebody who does. But
you gave me the Kung Fu thing, right? The Bruce Lee thing?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So a signed Paul Mooney book, I know you will keep, and it'll go. Where'd you go to college?
University of Illinois.
When they collect your papers, it'll be in the possession of the university or whatever. So
someone said, how do you feel about Malcolm X calling Elijah Muhammad a pedophile? I ain't got nothing to say about that. I'm keeping that to myself.
I'm drinking water too. I don't need to know.
Wait, someone said, what is American history? What happened? Excuse me. I'm trying to learn. I'm from Africa, at least. I'm trying to understand you guys. And you guys understand me from Africa. I'm trying to, okay. I don't know. These motherfuckers be writing crazy shit.
He's in Africa. You're reaching people all over the place. And congrats on your special too. Are you getting the demographics on that?
Yeah, man. So far, I heard that there's we got good ratings. So far, so good with the Tiffany Haddish thing.
You're the thumbnail.
I mean, I'm glad it came out the box and did my thing, man. You know what I'm saying? And I hope that everybody keeps watching it, and I'm looking forward to an hour.
So you have the relationships. Do they pay you the first time? Or is
yeah,
it like
they pay you.
So you got $20 million you can lend me?
What do you say?
You got $20 million you can lend me? I'll just hold it. I'll hold it for you.
I'll let you know. Well, what about you? What is your next project? What's going on?
I'm sitting here writing. I'm writing stuff for you. That's my main thought process. Is like, could Godfrey do this? So I have you like beating up demented old men and going to a high school production of a Medea play.
Mm.
It's a very bugged out, surreal, romantic comedy. So I think you'll like it. It'll be 6 to 8 weeks. I'll have something for you to look at. So
Okay.
but that's my energy and traveling as much as I can and keeping the channel up.
Right.
Trying to stay out of trouble with the channel. So
Yeah. That's what's up, man. That is what's up.
okay. So all right. Well, enjoy the rest of your night. How do you get me off this thing?
Oh, I'll get you off.
All right. Peace. Thanks, everybody.
Not a problem. Did you record this?
Somewhere. Yeah. All right.
Real Black TV, man.
Yeah,
All
I'll type it in after you get off. Real Black on YouTube. Thanks, everybody.
right, now.
All right. Peace.
Let's see if you get off. I think you should be able to get off. Remove. Yes, sir. That's my man, Mike Dennis. Mike Dennis. He's a filmmaker, and a journalist, filmmaker from Philly. That's my man. You know what I'm saying? I've known him for a long time. He does really good stuff. You guys should check out Real Black TV. Real Black TV. REEL. Black TV. It's pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. That was great, right? That was great. I had a good time doing that. That was fun. I had a really good time doing that.
I have to say that I'm very proud of what I did. I'm very proud of my work. A lot of black comedians were afraid. They were afraid. Richard was brilliant. He was genius. I mean, he was genius. He wasn't afraid to go there. You know, a lot of Negroes tap danced. They tap danced around the race issue, and they were afraid. And me and Richard, we didn't give a fuck. We really didn't give a fuck because we lived it. You know, white folks kill me because white folks will really, white folks will tell you, like, oh, it's not that bad. I mean, they really would say that shit to you. They would say that to you, and it would anger me. It would make me so angry because we were living it. Segregation. We couldn't even drink out of our own goddamn water fountains. This is real. It's real shit. And nothing has really changed. Nothing's really changed. So I hope that that I've left enough material for people to observe and to learn from. But if they didn't, fuck all you niggas and you crackers. Fuck everybody. I don't care. But I wanted to make sure that, and whatever people felt about me, whatever people said about me, the things, I was very, 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 very strategic on my material. I wanted to make sure that I left everything on the table. I still didn't get my 40 acres and a goddamn mule, but you know, white folks were gonna give you that shit anyway. They would have gave you the mule, but no goddamn land. But anyway, listen. So I hope that everybody continues to watch my material, watch the things that me and Richard left with you all. I hope that a lot of black comedians will start to take more chances. Stop making it easy. I know you're trying to get that goddamn sitcom because you know white folks won't give you a sitcom if you try to keep it real, which is it's a shame because comedy, you should be able to express yourself. You should be able to express yourself because it comes from love. It comes from love and your pain. How are you gonna be mad at my pain? You're upset at my pain on what I experienced. So what's the purpose of being a comedian if you have people telling you what to do? And just because you push the edge does not mean you're being offensive. The people who are offensive or offended are the ones causing the pain. So that's all for all you niggas, white niggas, Chinese niggas, Spanish niggas, everybody's a nigga to me. You know, everybody's a nigga. But I love you niggas. It was nice talking to you. Thank you.